One of the biggest questions people ask is, do you have to stay on Mounjaro forever? Because a lot of people worry they're going to end up stuck, almost like they're in a Mounjaro jail, taking it for life. And do you know what the honest answer is? Well, it's not as simple as yes or no, because what most people don't realise is what actually happens after the weight comes off. That's where things can get really, really difficult. So, hello everyone, I'm Manda's Midlife, and I've been taking Mounjaro now on my medicated weight loss journey for around about 9 months now. In that time, I have lost approximately 72 pounds. The reason I say approximately is because I'm in the middle of a plateau or a store. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it stays the same. That's where we're at. This channel is all about documenting the highs, the lows, and all the bumpy bits in between. So if it's good news, you get to hear about it. If it's bad news, you get to hear about it. That's how this channel works. If you think this channel is going to be for you, then please do subscribe to the channel. It means the absolute world to me. Now, today we're talking about staying on Mounjaro forever. But the real question is, what happens if you don't stay on it forever? Because the assumption is, amongst most people, is that I take it, I lose weight, and then I'll stop. It's as simple as that. So you really think, problem solved, I've sorted it, I've lost weight, I'm where I'm meant to be, I'm just going to eat normal, and I'm going to carry on as I am at go away. But there's a reality check, isn't there? And there absolutely is 100% a reality check. You've only got to spend 2 seconds on Google to find out what happens after you stop taking Mounjaro or any of these medications, and you can see the percentages of weight that people put back on, and it's staggering. But the trouble is, you walk into this thinking, I'm going to take it, I'm going to lose weight, and then I'm going to stop. But what happens is the appetite doesn't magically stay low. The food noise is going to return. The actual environment that you live in, where you eat, you feed, you go to the fridge, that may not change. You're still the same person in the same world as you were before you started this, and that can be really tricky to get your head around. And that's where I'm struggling, and that's the battle I have at the moment with myself, that mental battle. And I'll be quite honest with you, it really does frighten me, it really does scare me, because am I going to be that person locked in that Mounjaro jail for the rest of my life? And for me personally, I need to get my head around the fact that stopping doesn't mean I'm going to be fixed. It doesn't mean this weight loss is going to be permanent. It's not going to be a permanent change. But it does mean that those underlying habits will be oh so important to me. And that's my issue. And you know, my biology is exactly the same. I'm exactly the same up here. My mindset hasn't changed. My habits that I'm trying to build, I don't think they've changed. Ultimately, it's a real uncomfortable truth that you need to get your head around. For me, I'm not at go weight yet. I've got, I think it's 18 pounds until I reach my goal. So the first point for me is I can't stop too early. I can't be saying that'll do me, I'll come off it. You've got to build these foundations with a little bit of structure so that ultimately you're not relying on the drug, you're relying on your behaviour. Where I'm at right now is, yes, it's worked. Yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I've lost a lot of weight. But I don't think that behaviour's changed alongside it. And that's where I'm likely to get caught out, and it's where you're likely to get caught out as part of this journey, as we move forward, as we go through time. And when I started this, I never expected to be on this medication for so long. I thought, and I honestly did think it was going to be a quick fix. I can remember starting it in late May last year thinking, by Christmas I'll be done. I would have lost the weight and I'll just stop taking the Mounjaro. I'm a lot happier where I am now physically, but mentally I'm in exactly the same place, and I'm not at a place where I can stop the Mounjaro yet. So once again, does that mean I'm going to be on Mounjaro forever? Does it mean we'll still be having this same conversation in 3 months' time? Does it mean we're still having this same conversation in 6 months' time, or even 12 months' time? And that's the biggest worry. And yes, I'm healthier. Yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I look better. Yes, my clothes fit better. But ultimately, how long do I do this for? And it's the biggest question you need to ask yourself. One, whilst you're on this journey, and two, before you start the journey, because the commitment is huge. It really is financially a huge commitment. And that financial commitment towards your health is massive. Yes, it pays off, but how long for? Now, I did a video recently where I sort of mentioned that I'd spent approximately 3,000 English pounds since I started this journey. Fast forward 12 months time, Amanda's midlife, I've spent 6,000. Another 12 months, I've spent 9,000. I've spent 10,000. But at what point do you learn the habits that you're supposed to have learned? And it's a huge, huge question, isn't it? And again, what would happen if I came off it tomorrow? I'll tell you what would happen. In about a week, in about 2 weeks, all my food noise would return. The appetite suppression would stop. And I'd be in exactly the same position I was in when I started this, when I was 22 stone and 11 pound. 22 stone and 11 pound. I can't not take it anymore, because if I'm the kind of person where food possibly is always going to be an issue for me, I'm just going to end up doing that, aren't I? I'm literally going to do that for the rest of my lives. So the easy answer for me is to carry on taking it. And then what do we do? Do we look at maintenance? How does maintenance look? I did a video about maintenance ages ago thinking I was nearly there. Not even close. But what do you do? What are your plans? What are you thinking you're going to do? How long are you going to stay on it? I watch a lot of Gav's videos, and he's committed to saying he's going to stay on it 2 years regardless of where he's at or what it's doing to him. 2 years, that's thousands and thousands of pounds. It really is a massive eye-opener to what this journey can feel like. And if you're like me, you don't realise that before you start it. And it's almost like it's almost like an addiction. But you're using that addiction to the weight loss medications to break the addiction to food, or trying to help you break that addiction to food. Now, I'm only talking from my personal experience, and I know people watching this will be thinking, that's not how I feel. That's not what's happening to me. But this is what it feels like to me. Right, before we move on to the next part of the video, I just wanted to say, if I had £1 for every time I was asked, where do I get my medication from? Have you got a discount voucher? I would be a rich man. Now, you are in luck, because this video is supported by Bulk Pharmacy. They have given me a £40 discount voucher that I can offer to you if you use my link down below. Obviously, you need to research which companies you use. Obviously, you need to speak to medical professionals. You need to make those right decisions, and you need to make them yourselves. All I'm saying is, down below there is a code that's going to give you a discount off your first order with Bulk Pharmacy. I've been using them a while now. I think they're absolutely fantastic. They're really efficient. If they say they're going to deliver it, it turns up on time, and no fuss. The ordering process, again, no fuss. So if you want to bag yourself a discount, there will be a link in the description. And if you're in America, there's also one for Fella Health. But what I'm certainly not saying is there's either a right answer or a wrong answer, because you've got to do what you feel you need to do the same way I'm going to do what I feel I need to do. And of course, affordability comes into it as well. Can you afford to stay on it long term? Can you afford that commitment? Let's be honest, we're paying £200-300 a month for this medication. That's £200-300 these days is a reasonably nice car if you were to get it on hire purchase or lease or whatever. But you're making that commitment, and you're making that commitment in yourself. If you're taking this medication, or even thinking about it, this is the bit you need to understand, and you need to get your head around it, and you need to get your head around it early on. This is never going to be a quick fix. In fact, it could be a long-term solution. And if you do ultimately decide to stop taking this Mounjaro, as I hope to one day, that's always going to be my plan. And that sort of brings up the question of whether you're building something that lasts when you don't take the Mounjaro. This is the kind of stuff I talk about in my Wednesday videos, and I do it every single Wednesday without fail. And I like to think that a lot of the stuff we talk about is stuff that's not really been explained by other people before. You'll watch a channel and it's, yes, I've lost £2 again, or yes, I've lost £3 again. That's not my channel. there's a few people that struggle to get to grips with that isn't the way Manda's Midlife works, and I appreciate every single one of you that watches the videos. I appreciate every subscriber and every member of the inner circle. It really does mean the world to me. I'm not here to gloss over anything. I'm not here to make it sound better than it is or make it sound worse than it is. This channel is all about sharing my experience, and as I said earlier, that can be the good, that can be the bad, or it can be everything in between. So what I give to you is me being honest, open and frank, and I do try and say that every single video, and I still get people saying, oh, you're too negative, or I just don't think your experience is real, or I don't think you're sharing the whole picture. It really is. It can come across as a bit negative at times, but what it is honest. And I want to make sure anyone watching this video or anyone considering taking Mounjaro or other weight loss medications is aware. And I've not particularly had it bad. I've not had massive side effects. I've not had huge issues. I've not had to go to hospital, any of that stuff. What I want to do is be real with everyone, be honest with everyone. And every Wednesday, I'll tell you exactly what's happening. That said, my Saturday videos are a little bit more chilled, or I try and make them a little bit more chilled. So my Saturday videos is generally a weekly update. I'll tell you how my weight's been in the week. I'll tell you what I've been up to in the week. Have I got to the gym? Have I been working away? All that kind of stuff. And then I'll spend a little bit of time trying to answer the questions that you've sent in. So if you do have a question for Saturday's Q&A, please leave it down below in the comments. I am not a medical professional, but I always try and do a little bit of research and try and share my experience of what I may know or what I've picked up on this journey to help answer the questions. If I feel that the question is a little bit risque, then I will say speak to your medical professional. But like I say, if you've got a question for Saturday's Q&A video, the more chilled version of Manda's Midlife, pop it down below. Right, I think that's enough waffle for one video. As always, appreciate your support. If you could like the video, it would be amazing. If you could hype the video, it would be amazing. An honest and real documentation of a weight loss journey, then subscribe to my channel. I will leave a few of my other videos on the screen right now, and they do cover my entire journey, pretty much from month 2 all the way to where we are now. So if you want to see a slightly chubbier middle-aged man talking about his weight loss journey, I'll pop a few videos up there. I will see you all on Saturday for my weekly update and Q&A video. And as always, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate your support.